Mrs. Ambrosini, hello from Athens.
Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. You're talking to us from Lombardia, the region
Yes.
in Italy that was hit the most by the pandemic. You have almost 50,000 deaths, unfortunately, in your region. First of all, tell us, how's the situation right now?
So right now, everybody's waiting for the next week. I mean, for the 4th of May, because probably some restriction will be over. I mean, not everything, nothing has finished yet. Where I'm at the moment, fortunately, I'm in the Alps. I'm in the small village in the Alps where my mother lives, and where I've been allowed to come because of my son is here. And here the situation is very okay because there are no contagion right now. The situation in Milano and Interland Milano and in the region of in the part of Lodi, Bergamo, the cities which were more hit in the last few months. Well, the situation right now is not okay. Of course, it's better. Hospitals are. Of course, they can. Of course, they are prepared to what is going on. But everybody here now is waiting for the 4th of May, because from the 4th of May on, maybe we can just step by step try to live again, even if everything will be closed. I mean, we can move to see our parents. We cannot see friends, restaurants and shops. Everything is still closed, because our government says that everything should be done very, very slowly and step by step.
Same thing here in Greece. We will have gradually the lift of the measures. But Mr. Ambrosini, tell me, what went so horribly wrong in your region and you have all those deaths?
You know, I don't have the proof of what is going wrong. I don't really know if it was misfortune or if it was something that didn't go in the right way. In any case, I think that right now is not the moment to make polemics. Is not the moment to fight, because of course the government are saying that maybe in the region we could shut before, and the region say no, you don't say to us that we had to do the red zone before. What I think, and I'm completely sure, and for this I can talk for myself, is that absolutely we underestimated this pandemic.
Yes.
Because at the beginning of just yesterday, I give you a number. Just yesterday, it was proved that in Lombardia and in Milano, around January 26, there were already 1,500 more or less people infected.
Wow.
And we didn't know it, and nobody knew it. And at first, when this pandemic and when this virus came from China, everybody was quite, no, it's like a flu, don't worry, it's going to be better. And, for example, I speak myself, just 3-4 days before the lockdown, I was at the restaurant with my parents, with my husband, with my son. We were on Monte. There were plenty of people skiing. So I don't know what has gone wrong, but maybe we underestimated the problem, of course.
What about the health?
Now,
care?
sorry.
Yes.
Now, in my opinion, now is not the moment to condemn and say you, because this pandemic, this moment we are living in the world, it's something new.
Yes, Mr. Ambrosini, it's something new, but it has hit you more than anywhere else. So I believe sometime the day to see what was done wrong, it will come, I guess, right?
Of course. There are many options and many hypotheses right now for what is going wrong. Because, for example, the first. We call it Paziente Zero, the first one, who was in Codogno. It was a guy in Codogno. He was a very energetic man. He was doing marathon and so on. It was something like 38, and it was the first case.
Yes.
And maybe When he said in an interview that when he went to the hospital the first day, he went and he said, I've got a flu. Okay. He had a fever. Okay. How much? It was quite high. Okay. Go home. He went home. He took antibiotics, and then he went again to the hospital, of course. And in that precise moment, maybe, I don't want to condemn anybody, but maybe the problem was that doctors and the nurses and everybody weren't prepared to this pandemic. They weren't protected.
They weren't protected about
So
the patient zero.
We underestimated.
This is reasonable.
Yes, of course. And another thing, another thing that the experts are analyzing right now in. As far as the region, the Bergamo region is concerned, Bergamo is probably the most hit city in this pandemic. In Bergamo, there are the soccer team Atalanta.
Yes, Atalanta we know very well.
Okay, Atalanta this year is doing very well in Champions League. And just 1 week before...
the match against Valencia, Miss Ambrosini,
yes,
in Champions League.
In San Siro, yes. There were something like 6,000 people all together saying Atalanta Valencia. And for experts, maybe this could be a virus bomb.
How ironic, Miss Ambrosini, this historic moment for the team of Atalanta in the top 16 of Champions League, that maybe this was the reason why so many people died in this region.
Well, it could
this
be.
Is so ironic.
It's one of the hypotheses.
Yes.
Another really serious things that happened was the famous night in which the lockdown was announced. Yes. There were plenty of people at the railway station in Milano trying to punch and go into the south to go back to their cities all together.
Altogether,
this was bad, and it is not. I think that right now to see what happened in this last month, of course, there was some mistake.
Yes, Ms. Ambrosini, we have seen horror scenes from Bergamo, in the hospital of Bergamo, and what is going on there, and all those mass graves. How's the atmosphere now in your region? What do people think? What are your feelings about all that? And we're talking after about 50 days of quarantine.
Wait, you know what? I don't really know what to think, or maybe I know what to hope and what to expect, because I think that people will use all the responsibility, because now we have to be responsible for what we do from May the 4th on, because the sensation now is, of course, everybody wants to go out, everybody is really stuffed and is fed up to stay at home to stray trapping, but in any case, if government has already said that if we don't follow up in a good way, everybody will be locked down again. So what I expect is that maybe it will be very difficult because, for example, in big cities such as Milano, transport, metro, buses, this will be difficult. But I don't think that it's worth risking not to do what they tell us. For example, I tell you something. Our major in Milano, now I'm on the mountain, but I usually live in Milano. Our major Sala said yesterday, of course, we have a lot of parks in Milano. We're got of green for children, for everybody who wants to do some sport. Of course, we cannot stay there with rifles and say, you don't go. It's very difficult to control. For this reason, institutions have confidence in people.
It's confident in people, yes.
And say, okay, it's up to you if you don't want to lock down again in a very brief moment. Because a couple of days ago, there was when Mr. Conte, our premier, was doing in the last press conference, said what we have to expect in the next days. He said also that maybe they could open something more, but they have a dossier in which it was proved that if we reopen all of a sudden, in 3 weeks we will be again
lockdown
in the same situation.
The same situation, and I believe
the hospital will be full.
And I believe the people there keep the measures. Seeing all this horror around them and so many deaths, there is no debate as to keep the lockdown or not, right?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course, we just have to, now we have to be very, very, very responsible and to follow rules, even if it's hard.
Yes.
But I think that just if we follow right now, step by step, what they say to us, in some weeks, everything is going to open slowly again. If not, in some weeks, we will be at the first point.
Ms. Ambrosini, you are a journalist. What are you covering and what will you cover in the next days and weeks? I believe the coronavirus and the pandemic is the top theme of Italian media,
course.
Right?
Okay, I work in a news network, in a channel. We're doing news, and I stay or behind the camera or in front of the camera. It depends from week to week. Next week, I think it's my turn. I'll be in front of the camera, just telling people what's going on. I'm an anchor. But in any case, in our news network right now, the coronavirus is covering the 90% of what's going on. So as I concern, one day I can stay there just planning the thing to tell or how to proceed to build up the news network, the news. Or I can stay in front, or I can prepare, edit, and write article about coronavirus. We all also deal, of course, with what is going on in foreign countries, not just we don't concentrate just in Italy. We have correspondents all around the world. We stay in touch with them.
You have told me that you have lost two or three colleagues of yours were victims of the pandemic.
Yes, we lost two cameramen, not in Milano. The one was in Genova. It was one of the best we have ever had. Our cameraman correspondent he has been collaborating with us for many, many years. And another, which was in Brescia, which is very close to Bergamo. And they both were around 60 years old, and just up to the day before, they were covering the COVID. So
unfortunately, they were victims in the first line of duty. So, Ms. Ambrosini, you must have a lot of horrible stories to share from Milano all those weeks.
In fact, the most impressive things happening in this month in Italy, I cannot absolutely forget, because I think is nothing in comparison to other wars, other moment in the history, is that in this precise moment, people die alone. I mean, they stay in the hospital. I've got also friends who told me stories about people going into the hospital and saying hello, bye-bye to their relatives, son, sister, husband, wives. They go inside. They cannot absolutely see anymore their relatives. And the unique contact they have is just with nurses and doctors. Sometimes when they're lucky, they find doctors that probably with the iPad or iPhone and try to put them in touch with relatives, or either they don't survive and they die alone. And in this case, they die alone. I have plenty of witness of doctors saying we have just to call back the people, to call back families and say, okay, it's gone. And the other unforgettable thing is that we have no funerals, no mass, no possibility. I heard, for example, I have a friend of mine that works in an hospital and say the only occasion they have is to see the coffin passing by. When they're lucky, a coffin passing by the window and the relative can say bye-bye. But it's awful to think to die alone. Yes, it's something unforgettable and unbelievable.
I believe no one deserves to die like that.
No
And
one.
this is
No
one of the
one.
most horrific aspects of this pandemic.
Incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible. You cannot get in touch with them anymore.
I believe, Ms. Ambrosini, that all this pandemic, of course, the whole world, the whole world, but especially your country, it has made its mark in your country, right?
Yes.
This pandemic.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? There is just a proposal. If the proposal is from yesterday, and maybe someone will accept it. We think about having a day for all these victims, and this day could be in the calendar, in the year, the March 18th. You know why? Because on the night of March 18th in Bergamo, there were something like 65 trucks, military trucks, with 65 coffins of people dying. They didn't know where to put all these dying people, all these died people, all these victims. And so there is this picture went all around the world in all the news and was spread around the world. Very, 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 very heating. There are plenty of lorries down the street with plenty of coffins. And so just in memories of all these victims, because all these victims deserve one day in memory. So this day could be March the 18th.
So Italy is inaugurating a memorable day about this.
Yes. Yes,
pandemic.
it will be probably accepted as a proposal. It was just a yesterday proposal, because now that we can make a funeral from Monday on, I mean with a small group of people, but in any case, also families are asking for a day or a moment to come all together to get the memories to all these people.
Ms. Ambrosini, you are a fan of my country, of Greece. You also
course.
learn Greek, and you come every year to Greece, to Paros, if I'm not mistaken. You come every year.
Yes, I love Paros. I love Greeks. I'm learning Greeks. I'm learning Greek language, and I also I write a blog about Paros. Unfortunately, I don't really think that I could come this year, but not for you, because the problem, I think, I don't know if we were allowed to go abroad. I don't really know.
Okay. And the message, Ms. Ambrosini, that you want to say to the Greek people concerning what you have passed there in Lombardia and what is going on to my country, to Greece, do you have a message that you want to share with us?
A message I want to share is, of course, that everything we observe Greece with interest in this week to go, in the past weeks, because you did a very good work. As long as COVID is concerned, you were very well organized, and the pandemia was locked down in a very few days, so you didn't have so many deaths and so on. What especially because I love Greece and Greek people, I would like to say don't underestimate, don't be in a hurry to open everything for I can understand, of course, that tourism and it's one of the most important income in your
source
economy,
of income, yes.
But of course, don't be in a hurry to open everything, because you have, for example, these precious thousands of islands, which now they are protected. Just think about what to think, and everything is going to be all right if you go on like this, because you have been very, very quick to close. You don't have to open all of a sudden. You can do it. Of course, I'm nobody to say what you have to do, but because I like Greece and I love Greece, probably you are also much more lucky than us because of the density of population.
Yes.
If you imagine that in Lombardy we have something like 20 million people, of course, it's easier to control.
20 million people only in a region of your country, and Greece is 10 million. I would like to add here, Ms. Ambrosini, that unfortunately one of the reasons why Greece was so harsh and we did very well to take the measures was the example of Italy. The Prime Minister and the politicians here saw what happened in Italy, all all these problems and those deaths, and so they made the right decision to close early, and this is why one of the reasons why now we do not have such a problem, and fewer than 150 deaths so far.
But in fact, you know, just the day before the lockdown in Greece, the lockdown in Italy, I was in contact with some friends in Paros, and they told me that they immediately closed the island, and the island was allowed just to the locals, and it was a great idea and a great measure, because they contain the pandemia, and it was what they have to, you do exactly what you have to do. In fact, I read also an article at CNN about how proud Europe could be to see what Greece has done.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Ambrosini, thank you very much for our interesting discussion.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
And I wish you καλή υγεία and everything to go well from now on.
Okay, thank you very much. It was my pleasure, and I hope that for Greeks everything's gonna be all right also this summer, but it would be like this, I'm convinced.
And we're expecting you in Greece, if not this year, we hope the next one.
As soon as I can come, I come. I'm really looking forward to coming.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, bye-bye. Ciao.
Ciao.